And welcome back to More Approved. I'm James. I picked up this Lotos 200 AC/DC TIG welder and built this welding table with it. So you're going to see a little bit of footage of me building this welding table, and at the end of the video, we're going to talk a little bit about the Lotos and then welding helmets. Stay tuned. So all in all, the Lotos is a really solid machine. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Some of my welds turned out excellent. Some of my welds were pretty bad. So one of the reasons why I had some difficulties with welding, it wasn't the machine, it was because of the auto darkening helmet. So I had picked this bad boy up because it was a great price, had super excellent reviews on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below so you can just look at it, check it out. I think this helmet would probably work well for MIG or stick, but it was definitely failing on TIG. I'd start a weld and this wouldn't kick in. And then it would finally kick in, but I couldn't really see what was going on because I had a spot right in the center of my vision. And then as I'd go through the welds, it would cut out. It'd flicker on and off. I changed the batteries. I did all the troubleshooting on it. I went to Home Depot and I bought a brand new battery to stick in here, and same thing, no difference. So I won't be using this helmet for TIG welding. I do know a few people who stick weld and MIG weld. I might take it over to their shops and let them play with it and see if it functions better for them. If it does, they can have it. If not, it's gonna go in the trash. So I did end up replacing it with this Miller Digital Infinity series. The reason I did go with this particular model as opposed to like an ESOP or like a Viking 3350 is because I did not want to have the problem of this not being able to pick up that I was welding and then I get flashed again. So this is 3 or 4 times the price of that helmet right there, but I think it's worth every penny. It has something called X mode, so I'm gonna be welding with my garage door open or whatever the case may be, sunlight's coming in. This will actually sense the electromagnetic field around the weld and auto darken anyways. So I wanted to make sure that I had full coverage, and if I was going to spend a high price point, that it would get the job done. So if you're looking at the Lotos 200 AC/DC, I haven't done any aluminum welding with it. Works really good with steel welding. You will need an Argon tank, you will need a grinder, you will need welding gloves, you will need a welding helmet. And I ended up buying a 6-pack of 16-inch tungsten that was sharpened on both ends, so that way when I inevitably stuck the tungsten into the weld, I could pull it out, flip it around, and keep going, no big deal. That worked out pretty well. If I hadn't had as many issues with the helmet, I think the welds would have been a little bit more consistent. On some of them, because I couldn't see, I was actually blown through the backside of the material, and you can see maybe a little bit on the front here where it is a little bit pitted. That porosity goes all the way through because it went through the backside. As I was sitting there waiting, clenching my eyes, waiting to start welding, it was just heating up that material and blowing through. So you live and you learn. Get a good helmet. That's what you should do. So for the Lotos itself, I didn't actually use the foot pedal. I actually ended up using the trigger system on it. And with the downslope, you can control how long it takes that arc to back off. So if you're welding and you want it to be off instantaneously, you turn that downslope knob all the way down to 1 and it just shuts off the moment you let go of that button. So the higher you turn it up, the longer that arc fades. So it just decreases power, decreases power, decreases power, and turns off. I was using about a 2-second pre-flow on it, 0.2 second pre-flow on my Argon, and then I was also using a 5 to 6 second post-flow after the fact. It seemed to work out pretty well. I was just using all the standard stuff that came with the Lotos kit. I was using a number 7 cup, 1/16 tungsten, which I bought separately. I didn't actually use the 332. And I was using 16th inch filler rod as well, just rated for mild steel. The setup of the Lotos is pretty simple. This is where you set your pre-flow. This is gonna be your amperage. That'll show where your welding amps are. Down over here, this is the downslope. So when you're using just the trigger system to initiate everything, this controls how quickly it turns off after the fact. So once you let go of that button, it starts ramping down the amperage until it cuts out. This is your post flow. I was probably around 6 seconds on post flow. And then this is where you select whether or not you're gonna be using the foot pedal or if you're gonna be using the button on the back of your torch. All in all, setup's pretty easy. Put your grounding clamp in here, connect your torch into the gas here, and this is where you plug in your controller, whether it be the foot pedal or the button on the back of the torch. So everything welded pretty nicely. This table is sturdy enough for my needs. I might put a couple of tack welds on this surface plate just to hold it down to the base. So that way if I'm actually working on it pretty hardcore, the top isn't sliding around. The table itself, I used 14 gauge 2-inch tubing, and then this is just a 1/4 inch plate of mild steel. So I will be doing some more welding projects in the future with the Lotos, and as soon as I get some aluminum stock in, I'm gonna start building some shelving, et cetera, and so forth, and I'll try to film that and put it up. But thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. If you have any suggestions of helmets that you guys like, share it with the group, or if you've had one of these Deko auto darkening helmets and you TIG welding and it's working for you, let me know. Maybe I just got a bad luck in the draw. But thanks again for watching. Have a great one. See you next time.